What's going on, guys? Leo here. And after 7 years and 200 products tested, I came across one that made me over $43 million in sales. And here's the dashboard. So obviously you guys know I'm legit. And what's funny is that for 2 years straight, I actually failed back to back because I was following generic advice. And honestly, I was just trying to sell everything under the sun. But luckily for you, if you watch this video to the end, I can guarantee you can skip all my painful mistakes and actually understand the principles that allow me to find that one product to make me over $43 million. All right, so let's get into it. What is the $50 million product framework, right? So step one is finding a pattern within the products. One of my favorite softwares is Calidata. All I want to do is honestly just go over here, product, and start looking for patterns, right? And what I mean in pattern is that I don't necessarily mean a pattern in the product, a pattern in the problem that they're solving, right? So obviously we know like Goli is trending, it's super hot right now. And if you start looking at the charts, you can actually see they're trending. But why is it trending, right? Is it because it's Goli, the brand? Is it because they're pushing so much ad spend? Or is it because the general problem is trending, right? Like, is apple cider vinegar hot? Is ashwagandha hot? Or is it pre-postbiotics? Or is it even a combination of all these products, right? So I'll just keep that in the back of my mind and I'll just continue scrolling. And what I'll do is I'll try to find these patterns, these little outliers, right? So again, I have another product right here that just came up, and it's the Physician's Gut Guardian, right? So obviously there is a pattern here. There's a pattern in bundling products, right? As you can see, we have the digestion enzyme, the probiotics, and stuff like that. But even if you want to look at a pattern within these products, we're seeing this brand selling probiotics, and we're also seeing Goli sell probiotics as well. So there's a common denominator between these two brands, okay? And all I'm doing is just mental noting these patterns. I want to find patterns. I want to find things that are hot. And honestly, I just want to find something. So maybe I'll just click on this one. Let's see this Korean skincare. It's like anti-aging. Okay, cool. So is anti-aging hot? I'll keep that just in the back of my head. I'm like, okay, cool. And I just want to open these products up and just keep a tab on them. I'm looking for patterns. I'm not necessarily looking at the products. I'm not looking at the content. I'm just looking for patterns. I'm just trying to see what other products have in common that I can capitalize on a pattern, right? And I'm not seeing anything else. I'm on the now the sits page. I'm seeing alpha gummies, and then these are pure Himalayan shilajit, okay, and ashwagandha. Okay, well, there's might be a pattern there. Okay, and I think that's pretty much it on the patterns. Now, the only pattern I was able to identify in like a few minutes is probiotics, right? Both of these companies are selling probiotics. Now, Goli is obviously selling like a combination of weight loss and a combination of like relaxation, right? But if you look at them, they're actually both probiotics and prebiotics. So now if I go back to my $50 million framework, all I want to do is now, once I have a pattern, I want to validate the trend. Again, I'm not validating the product, I'm validating the problem. So what is probiotics solving? It looks like they're solving gut health, right? If I look here closely, it's like balanced gut, right? Supports digestive health, immune support, balanced gut. Same thing with the physician helps. It seems like, yeah, digestive enzyme, all that stuff. So I think even then the content itself is more about,
If your socks leave
yeah, it seems to be in the gut, right? So a lot of the things that were marketed to this product are about the gut. So I want to go here on trends.google.com, and I'm actually going to start looking for patterns. I just want to see if the trend itself is hot, if the market is in need of pre and postbiotics, right? So let me just type that in. Okay. And then I want to like 5 years. Okay. So it looks like pre and postbiotics is trending in the last maybe like last couple of months, but I don't know if I typed that in correctly. Let me see. I think it's pre post. Yeah, so sometimes you just don't type it. And it doesn't look like it's like a crazy pattern, but there seems to be a consistent need for that product in the market. Now, maybe something else like I can do is I can go and type in gut health, and I can see if gut health in general is trending. And obviously, just by looking at this chart, I can truly see that gut health is trending. Now, is it trending right now as the time I'm recording this video in October? No. But has it trended historically before? Yeah, it has trended historically before in like January and February. So I, as an experienced seller, I would probably want to sell this maybe more around the end of December or January because my chances of actually getting sales for this product are going to be much higher, right? Is there a chance of it selling right now? Certainly, 100%. But I'm probably going to have a better chance selling it while the market is really in need of this product. Okay. So I'm validating the trends. I'm validating the products. I'm actually validating the macro problems. And the reason I'm sticking more to the problem is that if I can solve a problem that is trending, I can swap any product out. Obviously, these products are solving the same problem, right? You have Goalie making millions per year, and you have, Physician's Choice making millions per year. They're both solving the same problem, right? They're capitalizing on the problem, not the product. Again, a lot of people get this confused because they're like, oh, I want to start selling products. No one cares about your products. They care about their problems being solved, right? And the only way to do that is by capitalizing on the problem that is trending. And so moving on to step 3 is just using my $50 million checklist. This is a checklist I've developed in the last couple of years that has truly allowed me to be certain about a product I'm pursuing. Again, nowadays, I want to pursue big opportunities and I want you guys to capitalize on big opportunities as well. It took me 200 products to find the big opportunity. So if you could focus on this checklist, you're only going to be selling big opportunity products, and big products are going to make you big money. So the first thing here is a macro problem solver. Okay. So you don't want to sell something that is in a downwards trend. So if I were to look up gut health, and I'll go back to this example, and if this was trending down per year, this is not a problem I want to pursue, because if the problem is dying every single year and less people need that problem solved, you're going to have a harder time selling products for it, regardless of the product that you sell. Okay. It's like, imagine owning the best newspaper printing company, but newspapers in general are in a downwards decline. It doesn't matter if you have the best company, it doesn't matter if you have the best printing machines. Your market is dying and no one needs your products. Okay. So you don't want to sell that. And it's the same way I think about problems. If the problem itself is in a downward trend, there's actually no use for you to even sell products in that market, right? Again, no one's going to want it. And there's going to be less and less people to buy your products every single year. And honestly, I just verify this with Google Trends, right? Like I've said NAD, I've said pH imbalances in one of my videos. As you can see, NAD is all-time high. And I've said this a million times, like you have to validate the problem first and then validate the product. For example, NAD right here is a product itself, right? But what does NAD solve? Well, it solves anti-aging. And if I look up anti-aging, anti-aging is a problem that is in demand and it's not declining, right? Even if the last 12 years or even in 2004, right? Like, as you can see, anti-aging itself is not a problem that's going away. Okay. So again, if we can validate the problems, we'll have an easier time. Okay. And same thing like the other ones I've mentioned before in my videos, like pH imbalance for women specifically. This is a problem that just absolutely scaling every single year. It seems to me by this trend that there's more and more women dealing with pH imbalances, meaning there's more opportunity for you to start selling products that solve pH imbalances. So again, if you were trying to solve this problem, you would have to verify it. Now, the beautiful thing about Google Trends is that you can compare if some problems are bigger than others. If we're looking at pH imbalance and we're seeing that it's just, increasing and going up every single year, but then if we compare it to anti-aging, we can see that anti-aging is like a bigger problem to solve, right? So if I were to focus on any product, I would most likely go with anti-aging opposed to pH imbalances. Even though pH imbalance is on an upwards trend, there is just more market demand for anti-aging. And again, you could do this for any other problem. For example, going back to the first thing, which is gut health, right? And we can compare pH imbalances, anti-aging, and gut health. And now we're seeing on a bigger scale that gut health seems to be a huge problem that most people are dealing with. Hence why Calo data is showing a lot of products to solve the gut health because there's a lot of people dealing with gut issues. There's a lot of people in America eating junk food. There's a lot of people just, that are overweight that blame the gut for their issues. But again, there is a lot of demand for the gut, and therefore there's a lot of products selling to solve gut health. And then moving on to the second point on my checklist is that I want to make sure it's a supplement, right? Supplements are amazing because one, they have high perceived value, and second, they are replenishable, right? This means people run out of supplements, then they have to go back to your store and buy more. It's just an amazing product. And if you can get it working, you can really, really scale your customer base. And the third one is actually you want to be able to mark up this product 3 times. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean the product itself needs to be marked up 3 times, but there has to be enough perceived value for you to actually charge 3 times the product cost. And this is something I had to deal with, especially selling my product where there's so much competition. If you can create value and separate yourself from the competitors, you can actually sell and scale in a crowded marketplace. And this is why Physician's Choice and Gully are still scaling and still doing really well. Even though they're both solving the same problem, they're actually bundled up very differently, creating unique value propositions for each customer. And this is just one of the many things that we teach inside of our program, Elite Ecom, that's actually generated over $35 million in client success. If you want to learn more, I've actually linked it below in the description. And now moving on to the fourth thing, I've already said this, but it truly has to be replenishable. With the landscape we're looking at right now, it is getting more and more expensive to acquire customers, and it's getting more and more expensive to advertise, right? So at the end of the day, if you can acquire one customer and have that customer pay you every single month or every other month without having to spend additional advertising expense, then you win, right? Because the game here is not to sell cheap products. It's actually to build a long-term brand where you can acquire a customer and have him or her pay you for a lifetime. And that's what we call lifetime value. Awesome. And the last thing on the checklist is that you want it to be a need, not a want. Now, I went back on Google Trends and I showed you problems that are more important than others. Now, there's also products that are positioned as wants instead of needs. And I'll give you an example. People generally want to be more productive, right? And there's nootropics that actually help people be more productive. Now, that is a want opposed to a need where people need to fix their baldness because they're extremely insecure about being bald. There is a more impactful problem to solve in someone's life versus a want. If you can focus on products that people need and not just people want, you'll have an easy time selling products to customers because they already need them, right? And that's exactly what we did. Instead of focusing on the products that people wanted, I made sure that I can integrate myself into people's everyday needs. I can help them lose weight. I can help them get in shape. I can help them be a better person because we're in a weight loss nation and everyone knows they need to lose weight, right? It's not like a want. It's like, I want to lose weight. But it's like, if people are extremely insecure, they need to lose weight. They actually have to, right? Either for their family, their kids, etc., right? And that's all with the positioning. But again, if you can focus on products that people need, not want, you'll always have an easier time selling them. All right, awesome. And that was a checklist. If you found some value in this video, make sure you drop a like and a comment. And of course, if you guys want to be a part of the best e-commerce community, Elite Ecom, make sure you book a call below. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.